right, so we're going to be talking about two-step equation word problems in this lesson, and we're going to go through a couple examples together of how to do this. So first I'm going to read through a problem and talk through a couple steps here, and then we're going to do a couple more, and then you'll try them by yourself. So the first example that we have here talks about a new one-year membership at Roswell Tennis Center costs $160. So we're talking about somebody who's trying to join a club for playing tennis. And for the whole year, we are paying $160. All right? Now we're going to get into some more of the details. So a registration fee of $28. We have another set of money which is paid, which is $28, is paid up front. That means I'm only paying it in the beginning, right? I'm paying that one time, right? And I'm paying it right when I register. So upfront means in the beginning, right? And the rest is paid monthly. All right, so each month I'm going to pay a little amount to be a part of this club so I can go there and play tennis. How much do the members pay each month? Well, we need to think about what it's looking for, right? How much means how much money. Okay, so we're looking for an amount of money that we're paying each month. So what is important, or what is an important piece of information that we need to answer this question? So one of the things we want to think about whenever we see a problem that's talking about months, right? If it's talking about months and it's talking about 1 year, for example, well, we need to think about how many months are there in 1 year, okay? So one important piece of information would be that there are 12 months, right, in a year. I'm going to need that information to create my equation, okay? Because I need to figure out if I paid for 12 months, right? How much did I pay each month? So we're going to talk about the number of months, and we're also going to talk about what is our variable going to represent. Now, we can choose any letter to represent our variable. We could choose X, but we can also choose something like M, right, to represent that monthly cost, right? The thing that I need to know, the cost per month, okay? That's the thing I don't know. That is the variable, the one that I'm trying to figure out. So the monthly cost could be represented by M. You can also use X. It doesn't matter, right? You can do one or the other. So now I'm just going to put together my equation. So we've got three parts here, right? We've got the thing that I paid first, right? That's my starting cost. Well, that was my registration fee, right? I had to pay that before I could even register. And so that was my $28. And I'm adding to it, right? Because I need to do this as well, right? And I'm paying a registration fee. So I'm adding to it the cost per month, right? The monthly cost per year. Well, I don't know what the monthly cost is, right? So I need to figure that out. That's my M. But again, I am going to pay that monthly cost how many times? Well, in a whole year, I'm going to pay it 12 times. So I'm going to say 12 times M. And that should be equal to your total cost for 1 year. So our total cost for 1 year is $160. So here I have an equation, right, which says 28 plus 12m equals 160. And then I should, if I solved and I finished doing my previous lesson, I should know that this is just a simple two-step equation. So I need to solve it by getting this number over here with the 160. And it's a positive 28, so I'm going to subtract 28. When I do that, these 28s cancel. I get a 12m is equal to 160 minus 28 should be 132. And then I know for each month, right, this should be divided equally by those 12 months. So I'm going to divide by my 12 and divide by my 12, okay, and I'm going to get an answer for how much I pay per month. And if you don't know what 132 is divided by 12, you can use your calculator, of course, right? So if I'm using my calculator and I get 132 divided by 12 gives me 11, right? So I get 11 is my M. But what does that mean? Okay, what is the meaning of that M equals 11? Remember, we're talking about what M represents. M is your monthly cost. So cost is a money. So I'm saying that it costs 11, right, dollars per Being a member of this tennis club costs $11 per month. This is the correct answer, 11. But what does the 11 mean is very important, okay? So I need you to be able to write the answer and explain to me what it means. So let's look at two more examples, okay? Number 2 says Jasmine's cell phone company charges her $35 a month for phone service plus 50 cents for each text message. How many text messages does Jasmine send in a month if her bill was $52? So again, I'm going to be starting with some amount that I have to pay. So for example, at the beginning of the month, I need to pay $35. Charges me $35. Each text message, that word each is important, right? Because it's telling me that this number is changing. Each time I do that, that's increasing. So that's where I'm going to have my variable, right? Text message, right? So 50 cents for each text message. And then how many text messages, again, the word in your question is usually your variable. So how many text messages does Jasmine send in a month if her bill was $52? So the total is going to equal 52. So I know that my beginning number, I paid 35, right, at the beginning, plus I need to pay 50 cents, right, per T. I'm going to use T for my text message, okay, because they're saying write an equation using T for the number of text messages. They even tell you what letter to use. And I'm going to say that equals 52. And then all I'm going to do is solve that, right? So I'm going to subtract my 35 from this side and subtract my 35 from that side. So I end up with 0.5t is equal to 52 minus 35, right? And if you can't do those in your head, don't worry, right? You can use your calculator, should give you a 17. So I get 17, right? And I need to divide it by 50 cents. Okay, because $17, right, divided by 15 cents should give me, sorry, not 15 cents, 50 cents, should give me 34, right? So I've got how many text messages? The T again represents the text messages, don't forget that, okay? So I have 34 what? 34 text messages. So one of the good things about using a letter like T is that it helps you remember what you're talking about, all right? All right, let's do number 3, which is over on this side. It says Caroline's Coffee Shop sells a refill mug for $8.95. Each refill costs $1.50. Each is going to be the thing that's repeating over and over again, okay? And that's going to be the thing that's changing. Last month, Sean spent $26.95 on a mug, that was the $8.95, right, and the refills. How many refills? Whatever your variable is, it's usually the thing in the question. How many refills, how many R, right, did he buy? So again, we look back in the question. R is represented by the refills, which represents $1.50. So we need to spend the $8.95 to be part of the club, right? So we're spending $8.95 at the start, and then we're adding to it each time he gets more coffee, right? He refills his cup, he's going to pay $1.50 extra per refill. And then total so far, he has spent $26.95. So you're basically breaking that into those pieces, okay? And you're solving it the same way, right? If I had $8.95 plus $1.50 R and equals $26.95, I want to subtract my $8.95 on both sides. I get $1.50 R is equal to $26.95 minus $8.95. Again, if you can't do that in your head, then do it in your calculator. It should give you 18, right? So we get $1.50 equals 18. And then the last step is to divide by the number with my variable. I'm dividing by $1.50, right? So I've got 18 divided by 150, and I get 12. So how many R's does he have? 12. But what does that mean? Please write me the sentence of what it means. He has done 12 refills, or he has made 12 refills. Okay, this is my answer. I know the number is 12, but I want the answer. All right, so let me take a pause right here. I want you guys to try the next two, and then I'll show the answers for them. Okay, so as you guys can see, the answer for number 4, right, the school purchased 12 uniforms, and you can see all the work right there. Let me know if you have any questions about that. pause it if you need to look more closely. And the last one, right, they are answering it took 3 hours. So hopefully you guys can see that you got both of your answers correct. If not, let me know if you have any questions. I'm glad to go through them with you again. On the back side, you have some more examples to try on your own, okay? So make sure you're practicing these and trying them by yourselves, because there will be one like this on the mastery check. So good luck.